Lots of things have been happening in the world of the NBA the past week or so. The NBA is something that constantly has things going on and other things happening. In today's video, we will discuss Contender's $494 million statement, glaring flaws in the Lakers' master plan, free agency winners and losers, and some other NBA-related news. First up, free agency. To start off this video, it's best to go over what the free agency is and what actually has happened. During free agency, more than 50 new contracts were handed out on opening day. Also, a number of superstars are already off the market. With this, we saw so many players win and lose. We also got to see some big moves that please the cornerstone talent and some that create some intriguing futures for the likes of Ben Simmons and Damian Lillard. So who exactly won and lost? We will go over that now. Stay tuned to the video so you don't miss out on this valuable NBA news and information. So, who won in this free agency? The Miami Heat. Recently, we saw the Heat surge back into title contention even after they bowed out of the playoffs in the opening round. Their point guard is Kyle Lowry, and he is set to add some winning experience to the team even after there were some concerns he was recently on the decline at Toronto. This fresh start is going to bring out the best in him, which we haven't seen in a while. Add in Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo, and there are so many good players in the lineup to get plenty of points for the team. The Heat splashed the cash with the free agency period, putting $364 million into Lowry, Butler, and Robinson. Next up, Zach LaVine. Next up on the list is Zach LaVine, who recently made it clear to his team, the Chicago Bulls, that he wants what he deserves. This seems to be in regard to his contract extension and superior role players. More players like Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan have signed on to his team, so it doesn't seem like he will carry the primary offense this time around. He seemed to also be winning from free agency with this and the fact that he can now play off the ball more, in addition to picking up the pace to provide opportunities for his team, especially his new teammates. He is really winning from this. Next up is the Brooklyn Nets. The free agency really hit the Brooklyn Nets in a good place. They already have their big three to work with, as they have recently gained control and locked down Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. These three are also available for extensions. They are all set to sign a 4-year extension of around $198 million. These three will surely lead to even more victories, and this free agency thing just helps them out even more. Their top players can stay around and gain even more popularity. Next up, veterans. We saw Chris Paul sign a 4-year, $120 million extension with the Suns, which will see him into his 40s. Next, we saw Kyle Lowry go into the Miami Heat on a 3-year contract of around $90 million, which also makes him one of the highest paid point guards. The Utah Jazz also grabbed a hold of Mike Conley with a 3-year contract of around $72.5 million. These players are really winning with free agency this year. Next up is Jarrett Allen. The final part of the winner side of this video is Jarrett Allen. Even though the player only came 22nd in the overall draft back in 2017, Cleveland clearly has him in their sights for the upcoming future. They recently signed him with a $100 million contract. They recently said that he remains a remarkable fit for us, the team, our culture, and what we need. Low usage but high efficiency rim protector and defender who can do everything for you. Jarrett Allen is truly winning with free agency recently and is easily one of the bigger winners out of this lot. Next up is who lost in this new free agency? Zion Williamson. Next on the list is something that could have been solved with a simple trade deal, but what all went wrong with this one? Here in our losses, we start with Zion Williamson. The simple solution for the team of the Pelicans was to re-sign Lonzo Ball and let him develop alongside Zion Williamson. Zion was even completely on board for this to happen, as he knew they had a great relationship when they were together last year. But Ball was traded away to Chicago and they got Tomas Satoransky, Garrett Temple, and a second-round pick in return. This just wasn't the right decision, and Zion is left in the dirt. He really took a loss on this one. Next, Damian Lillard. Damian's team, the Portland Trail Blazers, just seem to be trying to not keep him happy. Their recent decisions in the free agency just didn't sit right with him, so he may be looking at leaving. He just seems to not like the idea of it in general. He stated that you get some of the guys you wanted and some go that you would have liked. The Blazers needed to secure someone of high caliber to play alongside Lillard, but instead they signed Norman Powell and acquired rotation pieces Cody Zeller, Tony Snell, and Ben McLemore. This just wasn't the right move, and Lillard isn't happy with it. We could be seeing him move in the future. Next up, the Milwaukee Bucks. Even after free agency, the Milwaukee Bucks still have an immensely good team who are more than formidable enough to play against some of the best. The Bucks recently lost PJ Tucker as Miami traded for him with the Bucks. He was astonished to learn that the Bucks easily could have matched the trade offer to keep him around, but they decided not to do that for some reason. The Bucks seem to have now lost their hearts and soul that once carried the team. Tucker's now making another team better rather than the one he wanted to stay with. Next up, the Lakers defense. The penultimate one on our list is the Lakers defense. The Lakers had been having some strong moves to add shooters around LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook, but there was one thing not going well enough. Their defense just isn't good enough, and it doesn't look nearly as strong as it should. They had Alex Caruso, but he recently left for the Bulls, and it was a tough blow for the Lakers defense. Also add the losses of versatile wings Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Kyle Kuzma, and there's an even bigger problem with the Lakers defense for next season. Next up, Ben Simmons. Our final piece to cover for the losers in the final part of the list is Ben Simmons. With the Sixers recently adding Andre Drummond to their team, there is little chance of Simmons even staying in Philadelphia. The team is already scouting for trade offers involving Simmons, but they have said they will not make a move just for the sake of it. We don't really know what's going to happen with Ben Simmons now that Drummond has joined, but we probably will see him leave sooner rather than later. The team will be fine without him, but he is definitely at a loss here. And that's the end of our list. So the NBA has been really stirred up by the recent free agency occurring. Lots of teams and players seem to be happy with the changes they have attained, some really good players to boost their teams, or some just to make overall more consistent. Others just aren't happy at all, which seems to be the biggest takeaway from this entire thing. This free agency really screwed up the dynamic these players had with their teammates and the team itself. Some players have been betrayed by the team and are sorrowful that they don't have the people they want around them. This free agency is just something that happens as it mixes up the sport, giving others a great way to actually play against the greats, but it's not just really fair for some teams. It's hard to see these players who love the sport so much be betrayed and their games be ruined by some mix-ups and changes for money. Clearly, the amount of money in play was just too much for lots of these teams, and that's why they traded some players away. Some teams now have the power to maybe come up on top in the next championship playoff, so we may see a mix of players we haven't seen before. The next season is going to be an insane one. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, let us know down in the comments below, and also tell us what you think about the free agency changes and what's going on with these players. Thanks for watching. Bye.